All right, guys, what's going on? So today we're gonna give our hands and our forearms some much needed love. So if you're doing a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of heavy gripping with your pull-ups and your rows and things like that, you might be experiencing some elbow tendonitis or some kind of bicep tendonitis. Or if you're spending a lot of time on the computer and your phone, your forearms and your hands can get really, really tight. And all of that can irradiate up to your shoulders and to your neck and create a lot of tension for you in other places. So for today's workout, you're gonna need a rope and your 2 sandballs and a positive attitude, all right? So we're not gonna do anything too crazy. We're gonna get a lot of blood flow into your hands and your forearms. We're gonna stretch it out a little bit, and then we're gonna finish with some breathing to decompress the shoulders and a nice elbow for your T-spine, all right? So first, we're gonna start with our rope. So we put our sandballs to the side, all right? And we're just gonna do some nice, smooth movements with our rope here. So 1 knot in each hand, and we're gonna start to do our underhand race and chase, our underhand rolls, all right? So let's just move here for about 3-4 minutes and just get our bodies moving. All right, so even though we're working specifically on our hands and our forearms, it's nice to get the whole body moving, connected, coordinated, all of those things, all right? Just get some general blood flow going. So what I want you to focus on while you're doing the rope is really making sure that your hands are doing the full 180, all right? So I'm gonna stop the rope for a second. I want you guys to keep going. Whenever I come underhand, my pinky leads the way. I get a full flip. My pinky leads the way the other way. And it's that full rotation at my wrist, which carries up to my elbow and my shoulder. So I really wanna see you guys flip the pinky in both directions, okay? And have that be moving and coordinated with your core, with your shoulders, and with your hips and your feet, all right? Spines on tall. And start to try to establish a nice, smooth rhythm with your breathing, okay? Seeing if you can inflate your lungs a little bit more every time. Okay, my shoulders are set wide on the sides of my bodies. My lungs are pushing outward into my shoulders, creating a nice big frame. And big rolls here. Good, really, really smooth. And again, we're kind of exaggerating what we do with our forearms, okay, and our hands so that we can start to get a little bit more blood flow there. All right, and my grip for my rope is nice and loose. So I'm just holding it really with my thumb and my pointer finger. The rest of my fingers get to relax, and I'm really doing a nice, big rotation here. Spine nice and tall, shoulders square. Good, guys, we're going to go for another 30 seconds here. If you want to speed it up a little bit, you can. What we're going to do from here is we're going to go straight into what I call some blood flow moves or some joint moves for our hands and our wrists, all right? The first round is gonna be a little bit more gentle, if you'll wanna call it that, than the second round, all right? But the goal here is to get a lot of blood flow and a lot of movement into the connective tissue of your hand and your forearm, all right? So lots of reps and some good speed here. 3, 2, and easy. Set that rope to the side. Okay, first move, guys. We're just gonna do what we call the spread and squeeze. So if I have my hands next to my side, I'm gonna open my fingers up as wide as I can, and then I'm gonna squeeze my fingers together. I'm not making a fist, okay? Just squeezing my fingers together. Let your arms relax by your sides. Try to keep your shoulders falling down, ribs nice and wide. 3, 2, 1, and we're gonna go for a minute here. Spread and squeeze, okay? Spread and squeeze. You wanna go fast enough that you start to feel some burn, but not so fast that you cut your range of motion short. Spread and squeeze, good. Spread and squeeze. I try to relax the muscles of my forearms as much as I can. And ironically enough, I try to relax my hands too so that blood flow can go in and out while getting this big range of motion. Spread and squeeze, spread and squeeze. Good, again, breathe really big up into the high part of your ribs, up where your armpits are, trying to breathe some width, okay? Trying to make your back like a sail on a pirate ship. Really big. I don't know why I said that's the image that just came to mind to me. Okay, or the hood of a cobra might be more cool. Okay, silverback. We've got about 10 seconds left, guys, and then what we're gonna do is we are gonna do a fist and then an open. Okay, fist and then open. 3, 2, 1, good. Close and open, close and open, close and open. You wanna open fully, and when you close to squeeze, squeeze with like a 3 or 4, okay? You're not trying to break your fingers when you close your fist, but you are trying to create some nice kind of squeezing for the forearm muscles here. Open and close, open and close. We got about 10 seconds left, and we're gonna turn our palms forward. Again, nice long spine. Okay, you should be starting to burn and get a little bit of pump in the forearms here. Okay, turn your palms forward, open and close. Open and close here. Open and close. Good. When you rotate your arms like this, it doesn't necessarily change what muscles you use, although it does very slightly, but it changes the way the connective tissue in your forearm and in your hand is kind of tensioned, and that's going to change the blood flow and change what we're going to activate here. Okay, about 6 more seconds. All right, then what we're going to do is we're going to curl and then spread our fingers, all right? So it's going to be more like a wrist roll is the way you can think about it, okay? So the way it is, I take my arms out in front of me, curl my fingers all the way, and then I curl my wrist, and then I uncurl and unfold. Curl and unfold. I'm going to put my arms down by my side, curl and unfold. Really try to roll through the fingers, okay? So it starts at my fingers, ends up in my wrists, starts with my wrist, ends back up in my fingers. Full range of motion. Okay, when you curl your wrist, you want to feel a slight engage. You want to feel a nice engagement on the front side of your forearm, and then a nice stretch on the back side. Okay, with my palms facing you, and then really try to feel the opposite on the other way. So when I extend my wrist, I get a nice pump through the top of the forearm, and a nice stretch through the back. Good. Again, if you have a little elbow tendonitis pain, if you have a little pain maybe from tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, when you do this stuff, okay, don't do it in a way that creates pain. Try to do it in a way that makes it feel good after, okay, where you start to get a little bit more blood flow here. But don't do the range of motion that creates pain. Stop inside of range of motion that's pain-free. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're just going to do pure flex extend. So palms facing back, flex your fingers all the way up to the sky, and then backwards, up and back, up and back. Good. We're going to do 30 seconds here. Man, my forearms are pumped. Whew. Okay, 30 seconds here. Again, shoulders relaxed, ribs nice and wide. Ribs nice and wide. Good, ribs nice and wide, nice deep breaths, okay? Really try to imagine like your forearm, okay, is filling up with blood, okay? Like a water balloon. That's what a pump is, right? A pump is your forearm or the muscle trying to get full with blood flow to kind of clear all the waste products and give some nutrition to that area, give it some oxygen and all those things, all right? And you want to try to keep all those muscles relaxed so that the blood can actually move in and out, okay? 10 seconds. All right, now turn your palms forward and big range of motion. Big range, big range. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now we're going to do thumb to the sky, pinky to the sky. Thumb to the sky, pinky to the sky. Okay? Thumb to the sky, pinky to the sky. Okay? This is a move not a lot of people do. It's not super used in the gym or too much like that. Okay? But it's good if you've ever seen like a Thor's hammer. All right, that's a great tool for strengthening this range of motion here. But we're just going to do a lot of reps, guys. After this, we're going to go straight into our forearm stretches. Okay? Straight into our forearm stretches. They're going to be uncomfortable. So when a muscle's full of blood like this and you try to stretch it, it's already tight feeling, right? That's what the pump is. It's already tight feeling. So trying to stretch something that feels tight like that doesn't feel great, but it is great for your body, all right? Big range of motion here. We got about 5 seconds. Thumb all the way up, pinky all the way up. Thumb all the way up, pinky all the way up. Get a big range of motion. Really scoop through the bottom of this. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome, guys. Okay, when it comes to stretching the muscles of your forearms, you really want to make sure that you protect your wrists, all right? So all of the pressure that I'm putting into my hands and into my wrists is through my wrist, not through my knuckles. So if I put my weight here through my knuckles, that's going to kill my wrist, right? And I can't really put that much weight because I don't have a nice support there. But if I can put my weight through the top of my wrist, like where my forearm meets my hand, then I can still stretch all these muscles, but not kill my wrist, all right? So what we're gonna do is I want you to turn your fingers back towards you. So all my fingers are pointed at me, and I want you to take 5 or 10 seconds to really try to open up your fingers, okay? Let your hands be very full. Let the back of your hand get very full. And now I want you to gently start to straighten your elbows, and you're gonna just take 20, 30 seconds to turn your elbows in and out. So I'm actively pushing the top of my wrist into the ground, making sure I have a nice fixed point there. And I'm just rotating my elbows in and out. So if I face you guys, okay, you'll see my bicep, and then I make my bicep disappear. See my bicep, make my bicep disappear. All right, I'm gonna go back to the mat. Okay. See my bicep, make my bicep disappear. Good, guys. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn our forearms all the way out. So I want you to make your bicep appear, all right? Not disappear behind you, but appear. And now with your bicep turned forward, you're just gonna gently try to spread the fingers. Make sure you keep your weight through your wrists, reach your hands through the ground, and just start to sit your butt back slightly. And you should feel a really nice pull through the top part of the forearm. Good, keep those biceps facing forward. Good, elbows actively trying to straighten. Walk my knees back a little bit. Good, guys, if you have a history of wrist problems or you haven't stretched these muscles in a while, I would suggest taking a little break right now and then coming back into it for the second half of the stretch, because we're going to be here for about 90 seconds. Okay, and these muscles and all these ligaments and these structures, they need a little while to adapt to being, stretched and more flexible and all that good stuff. So putting this kind of pressure through them, if you haven't done it in a long time, just do it in small breaks, small increments. Good. Really try to open the fingers. Imagine your hand just relaxing and kind of melting on the floor. Good. I've been doing a lot more computer work lately, a lot more work on my phone. So these things are tight for me. Beautiful, guys. To come out of this, I want you to rock forward, bend your elbows, slowly sit back onto your heels slightly, and then relax that. Okay, shake out your hands gently, open and close a little bit. Awesome. Now what we're going to do is the opposite. So I want you to turn your fingers back towards you with your palms on the ground. Okay, we're going to start here for 90 seconds. I want you to try to turn your arms inward as much as you can. So it's like I'm trying to get my biceps to really face forward. Once I have that, I'm going to put a little bit more pressure through my pinky, through the pinky side part of my palm. And I want to feel my palm flatten out and open up against the ground and just fully relax. Now, I need to find a balance here between straightening my forearm and jamming my forearm straight. Like, you don't want to hyperextend your knee. You don't want to hyperextend your forearm either. So find enough pressure there. I have a little pressure on my fingers, and I'm going to start to rock back as I push my palm into the ground. Okay, so if you've done any of the lower body classes with us, then you know that when I'm stretching my calf, I don't want my heel to leave the ground. All right, same thing here. Now I don't want my palm, my forearm to leave, my palm to leave the ground, okay? My palm is like the heel of my hand. That's why we call it that. Good, big breaths in, spreading the fingers, and just breathing, trying to get all the muscles of the forearm to relax. And again, guys, we're looking for like a 4 or 5 out of tension here. You don't need to kill it. As you get more comfortable, you can come back a little further, but there is such thing as stretching too hard too soon. And just breathe and put pressure through the palms into the ground. Palms are spreading, fingers are spreading. Good, and that was 90 seconds. Awesome. We're going to easy come out of that, rocking back into our heels. Good, timer's up. Okay, beautiful. Shake out your hands for a second. See how that feels. Okay. As you shake out your arms here, try to let your hands be really, really, really loose, like totally dead. Okay, totally dead. Forearms are totally dead. Arms are totally dead. Okay, fingers are super, super, super relaxed. Okay, allowing as much blood flow into your hands and your forearms as you can get. We're gonna do one more round of that, guys, with a couple of different moves. Okay, get the wrist and the forearm moving in a different way. Still gonna stretch our forearms at the end, and then we're going to finish with some shoulder decompression and a nice elbow. All right. Okay, here we go. So 60 seconds on the clock. We're going to do, again, flex extend. Okay, palms facing back to start. 3, 2, 1, flex extend. Flex extend. Good. If your wrists feel a little, let's say wonky, or maybe a little just kind of like disoriented after that stretch, that's totally normal. You'll feel good in about 15, 20 seconds here of moving through that big range of motion. Okay, so big flex extend, all the way up, all the way down. All the way up, all the way down. All the way up, all the way down. Again, good. I'm more of a wanderer, but if you want to stay in place and try to work on your posture while you move your hands, that works for me too. Good. You don't need a lot of tension in your body to do this. Okay, 3, 2, we're going to turn our palms forward, all the way up, all the way down. Woo, this burns. Good. It's back. It's back. It's back. Good. I love these moves, guys, because you can get just a tremendous amount of blood flow and circulation into areas that may be kind of stiff, maybe kind of tight, and may not get a lot of that movement throughout the course of the day. Okay, 3, 2, 1. We're going to do big circles in, big circles in, big circles in. Okay, big circles in. Oof. Good. So I'm fully flexing my palm, fully extending my palm. So I have all that activation in the forearm, but I'm doing a big, big, big circle. Good. Try to make the movement happen at just the wrist and the hand, and don't let it carry up here into the shoulders. I can feel myself getting kind of tight through my delts, through my rotator cuff. I don't want that. Okay. But what that goes to show is that a lot of effort down at the hands can carry up into your arms and your neck, like we talked about at the beginning. And if you work on the computer a lot, or you're doing a lot of heavy weightlifting or some training with us, then you might want to avoid that. We might want to work on just keeping it isolated more to the area that it needs to be. Good. 10 seconds, guys, then we're going to go out to in. So we're going to go the other direction. 5, 4, 3, this burns, 2, and 1. Other direction. Other direction. Good. Big range of motion. Big range of motion. Take your time here for a second, guys. You don't need to go quite as fast on these. You're just really trying to work your your wrist through a huge range of motion. Okay, and as you start to get a little bit more pumped, all right, you'll lose a little range of motion, okay? You lose the ability to contract as much and get as big of a range as you could. Okay, all the way up, all the way down. Big circle. Big circle. Shit. Reach your arms to the ground. Good. Breathe really big. 10 seconds. Good. 5, 4. Awesome, guys. What we're going to do now is an upper limb figure 8. Okay, I'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll go kind of smooth through it. 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. So what we're going to be doing is start with your pinkies on your chest, your elbows on the wide parts of your body, your shoulders relaxed. All right, start with this position. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my pinkies in, reach my fingers forward now. And then as I pull back, I'm going to pull back and in, rotate, push away. Pinkies now to the sky. Pinkies rotate all the way in. Forward and in. Palms face away. Palms face away. And then I rotate through that full range of motion. All right, guys, here we go. We're going to go 60 seconds here. Rotate, pull. Rotate, pull. Rotate. Breathe. Breathe big back through your ribs. Good. And try to relax here. Pull those elbows back, up and around. Elbows back, up and around. Good. You got 25, 30 seconds left. Elbows back, up and around. Curl your arms and then all the way forward. Bicep curl, tricep extension there. Bicep curl, tricep extension. Rotate. 5, 4, a little bit more is going to be burning here now than just the forearms, but we needed to get the forearms kind of integrated back to the rest of the shoulder. 3, 2, and 1. Nice job, guys. All right, shake that out. We're going to go back to the floor. All right, let's go ahead again. Put the tops of our hands on the ground. Okay, get really heavy through the top side of your hands. Elbows nice and straight. Now, instead of turning my biceps inward, I'm going to turn them outward. Excuse me, I'm going to turn my biceps so they disappear. Okay, so if there's a camera in front of me, which there is, then I don't want to show my biceps to the camera. I'm going to show my biceps towards me. All right. Now 90 seconds on the clock. Biceps facing me. Elbows straight. I'm just going to start to lean back and I'm just going to get a general stretch through my wrist and my forearm. If it doesn't feel like any super specific muscle, guys, that's okay. If it does, and maybe you have like, a little golfer's elbow, then that's also okay. And just breathe. I want to really try to reach my wrist into the floor. Lengthen through my spine. Breathe really big through my body. Keep rotating my bicep towards me. Elbow straightened, long spine. And just breathe. Again, guys, it takes a while to get conditioning in your wrist to make this comfortable for more than 15, 20 seconds. So no problem at all with doing 15, 20 seconds and then taking a 10-second break, shaking it out and coming back to it. Again, you don't want to kill it. So you should be able to lift your knuckles off the ground. Okay, you should be able to lift your fingers off the ground. There shouldn't be any weight through those structures at all. It should be all through the top part of your hand. Good. Now to come out of this, go forward, bend your elbows, and then gently rock back onto your knees, putting the weight onto your legs. Take a second. Shake out your arms. Beautiful. Now, last time, guys, we're going to turn our fingers back with our palms on the ground. And I want you to try to really rotate those arms so that your fingers point all the way back. Okay, 90 seconds on the clock. Really big spread here. And I want my palm to get totally flat to the floor. So as much surface area as I can touch on the ground, that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, as much as possible. Lengthen your body. Push your palms towards the floor, lengthen through your head, ribs back to the sky. And now I just start to gently sit my butt back. And I breathe. Imagine that you want to grip the floor with your fingers, and then imagine the opposite where you just totally relax your grip. I want you to totally relax your grip here. Again, you don't want to have any pain. You just want to have a nice general stretch through the forearm here. Pushing your elbows slightly forward, pushing your forearm slightly forward, finding that stretch as you just easy sit back towards your hips. Good. Now rock forward all the way to your palms. You can bend your arms a little bit. Easy come out of that. Perfect. Okay, good guys. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do our shoulder decompression, okay? We're going to do it standing here so we can really allow some blood flow into our hands. So we're going to grab our sandballs and we're going to put those up high on our armpits. I have my sandballs here, all right? You should have seen that in your home exercise kit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put them up really high on my armpits, okay? So that they're directly on the sides of my body. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the sandball almost as a wedge between my shoulder girdle, so my collarbone, my shoulder blade, and then my arm and my rib cage, all right? Put it up high there. Beautiful, and just stand. All right, so if you feel like you're an imposter bodybuilder, you're doing it right, okay? You want the sandballs, again, up as high as you can possibly get them. And what I want you to do is I first want you to find your stack. So my stack is my pelvis over my ankles. Remember, my ankles are in the back part of my foot, not the front, so I'm not out here. My rib cage over my pelvis, and my head over my ribs. And what I'm going to have you do, guys, for the next 3 minutes is I really want you to just focus on a very slow, intentional, deep breathing, not rushing the inhale, and definitely not rushing the exhale, focusing on a slow exhale. As I breathe in, I try to feel my hands relax and open up. As I exhale, I try to feel length through my collarbones. So it's like my collarbones are spreading east and west. Good, my hands are relaxed. I'm not gripping anything. I'm breathing outward into the sandballs. Good, guys. You've all been in grade school, right? And you used to kind of blow up the surgical gloves, right? And you used to, make like we do it for Thanksgiving. We paint them and whatever, and all the fingers would inflate, right? Well, now your fingers need to inflate with the blood flow that you just created. So what I want you to do is I really want you to focus on your hands, relaxing into an opened position, not curled up tight here on my phone or on the keyboard. But I really want my hands and my fingers to be able to spread and relax. And I'm not doing it with muscle, I'm doing it by letting go of tension. So really try to feel your fingertips get heavy to the ground. As my fingertips get heavy, my palms can relax. I can let go of the barbell. I can let go of my phone. I can let go of the keyboard. And I spread through my collarbones. Got about 60 seconds left here. Really let your arms get heavy on the inhale, feeling the sandballs kind of slide down to your ribs as you breathe in big. Exhale, lengthen through the collarbones. Inhale, let the hands and shoulders fall down. Exhale, spread through the collarbones. One more deep breath, guys. Really try to breathe out into the sandballs, if I'm trying to push the sandballs away with my air. My arms fall heavy to my sides, my hands really relax. Beautiful. Finish that exhale. Awesome, guys. All right. Let's get into the T6 Eldoa. So I'm going to show you guys from the side. Have a seat on your butt. You're going to crisscross your ankles. Okay. Whatever way is comfortable for you is fine. All right. Just as long as they're not jammed underneath your butt. Okay. I don't have to worry about that because I'm not flexible enough to put them under my butt. All right. But I want them maybe 6-8 inches away from your pelvis. Okay, you're gonna put your hands on your shins, okay, just below your knee, and I want you to square your shoulders here. Okay, for the next 60 seconds, we're gonna try to really work to lengthen our posture. So, a lot of us struggle with the idea of having our ribs be back because we've been told to arch our chest for so long. What I want you to do is I really want you to try to breathe back through your ribs with your rib cage and your pelvis perfectly stacked. So not arching my chest, not falling backwards on my pelvis. Everything is really vertical and I'm getting very heavy through my hips to create more length through my spine. Shoulders are relaxed. Good, my head is back, my heart is back. My pelvis is square and everything is lengthening, pushing into the floor to create my height. Very slowly now, without losing the posture that you just worked to get, bring your hands together in front of your chest. Take a deep breath in, gently pushing your palms together to kind of almost round your upper back slightly. Head comes back so it's over your hips. Now take one deep breath in and we're going to touch the sky together. Keep your palms lightly touching. And now for 60 seconds, we work to touch the sky, pushing our pelvis into the ground, pushing our fingertips up. Keeping our head over our heart, keeping our heart over our ribs over our pelvis. Good, 30 seconds. Really try to keep your heart and your stomach back, guys. Don't let everything flare forward. I really struggle with that. Just breathe and lengthen. Push those arms, head back, stack, deep breath. Easy, bring the arms down. Keep the posture. Shake it out. Beautiful. All right, guys, we're all done. The hands and the forearms should feel nice now, and go off and have a good rest of your day. See you next time. Peace.